Welcome to the Real Academy, brought to you each Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time by
The Resilience DoctHers,
Dr. Sheikah Houston and Dr. Tammy Taylor, best-selling authors, consultants, and speakers of Create and Educate LLC. Create and Educate LLC is an educational consultant and literary firm that provides professional development to schools and community. Their goal is to transform organizations with the REALL resilient framework used to increase their school report card grades 2 and 3 grade levels in 1 year. REALL stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy, and Leadership. This framework is used to coach leaders and teachers and build student efficacy while putting systems in place that aligns the work of the school improvement, making the process manageable. When the work is manageable, teachers and leaders don't stress out or burn out.
The Resilience DoctHers.
Alignment systems are designed to help schools evolve and grow, all while instituting protocols and processes designed to promote collaboration and collegiality. The implementation of the alignment framework prevents some of the most common problems in education, where leaders sometimes aren't sure where to start, or in our new age of educating, leaders need a trusted sounding board that allows them to be vulnerable and transparent, preventing loneliness at the top. The framework doesn't just help leaders, but also prevents teachers from burning out from too many initiatives and embracing teachers as they are the experts. Finally, the framework extends to the children, helping them get engaged in school and solving a nationwide problem. Alignment systems are frequently referred to as a key element of success in the improvement process. In the sport of rowing, all rowers must put their oars in the water, succinctly creating a system for their boat to reach maximum speed. So schools that want to improve are bringing in
The Resilience DoctHers
to teach them all about the alignment systems that must be in place for school improvement to be accomplished at high levels. The dynamic duo provides insights into educational topics through their international platform, which includes educators, parents, and community members as a way to support important entities that make communities thrive. This is their way to pay it forward and provide the support they needed through their platform. Take a look. People who work with
The Resilience
describe them as an
DoctHers.
excellent and inspiring group of leaders. They get into the weeds of work with leaders through their TrustMate Institute that you should contact them about today by filling out the contact form on their website.
It's Super Saturday, everyone. Welcome to episode 256 of the Real Academy, brought to you by Create and Educate with your very own Resilience DoctHers. I'm Dr. Sheikah Houston.
Hello, everyone, and I'm Dr. Tammy Taylor. Thank you so much for joining us this Super Saturday morning for the continuation of our Synergy Lab series, where we're helping schools to build stronger people, stronger teams, and stronger systems. Our episode today is Psychological Safety in Schools, creating teams where people can learn, contribute, and thrive.
Absolutely. And we always start each week with asking, what? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong thing. Where did your resiliency show up this week? So, if there's any situation where your resiliency had to show up this week, let us know where it was. And mine definitely showed up this week as we traveled to um, Savannah to a very great institute by Principal Kafele and Dr. Tammy Moy Johnson. We are on fire from that, and that definitely is going to sustain our resiliency probably for a good while. What about you, Tammy?
Yes, there are no words to describe that experience and just the fuel that I needed to make sure that I'm ready to get started in this new year to be able to support and get it all done.
Absolutely. So, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome to the Real Academy. And you may be wondering, who are the Resilience Doctors?
And we are glad that you asked because we can tell you that we're best selling authors, we're children's book authors, award winning educators, speakers, consultants, and school improvement practitioners using our real framework that stands for respect, excellence, accountability, literacy, and leadership, where we share the improvement strategies that helped us to improve our schools 2 and 3 levels in just a single year, along with our amazing staff members. Together, we've spent decades serving students as teachers, assistant principals, principals, district leaders, and now as founders of Create and Educate.
Absolutely. And today at Create and Educate, we transform schools from the inside out by aligning people, culture, and systems using our framework that Tammy talked about, the Synergy Lab, and proven school improvement systems. This is what helps leaders build resilient schools where students thrive and educators love to work. So, our work isn't just about improving test scores. I know that's a lot of the focus because that's where a lot of the political focus is, but we're focused on building schools where people want to come every day, schools where students feel connected, schools where teachers feel valued, and schools where leaders have systems that last. So, our unique approach to school improvement is through our Synergy Lab experience that cultivates an experience on self and team awareness, because when people understand themselves, they communicate differently, they collaborate differently, they lead differently, and ultimately schools improve differently.
For sure. And we always tell you that if you aren't able to bring us in, please keep tuning in here to the Real Academy each Saturday morning where we show up and are happy to pay forward what has been poured into us. And in this Real Academy, we're very, very thankful that we've had the opportunity to impact more than 300,000 educators and approximately 7 million students through Fantastic Four free PD every Saturday morning, which Principal Kafele has deemed as Super Saturday, where we begin at 10 a.m. with our brother in this work, Principal Sean Hurt, who was on. We heard him this morning, and he was absolutely doing his thing as always. Then we follow here in the Real Academy at 10:30. Create and Educate with Sheikah and I. And then at 11 a.m., the Leaders Mentor and the GOAT in the AP and New Principals Academy, Principal Kafele. And then on Sundays, we round this out with the PGP podcast with Dr. Marty Moreno and Principal Josh Tovar.
Absolutely. So, if this content is helping you in any way, please share, like, subscribe, comment as you all are all doing right now. Send the stars. Help us to continue to pay it forward to people who, educators across the country who may need support. And I see a lot of the names of people that we saw at the Institute. It was like a real family reunion. So,
Yes.
we really are still on a high from that. So now we are at our announcements. Let me scroll up to.
And while she could scrolling, we are also very thankful that we were able to meet some new friends and make some new connections because honestly, there is nothing like being a part of that intimate institute with Principal Kafele, where he is just pouring into you. And we are I am, and I'm sure she could likewise. We're just overflowing this morning.
Absolutely. And thankful that he shared the floor with us and allowed us to share our story. So it was a great, great time. Just wanted to share this real success story. I can't share a name yet because, all of the data is still embargoed. But I got a call from someone who is a real fan member, who I talk to regularly in some leadership coaching sessions, but the school has gone already from 31% proficiency last year to this year already being at 51% proficiency in ELA. So those are the types of success stories we like to hear. If you have
Yeah.
any, and you've instituted some things that we've talked about, because she said I did exactly what y'all said to do, um, please let us know because
And
we
next year
like,
it'll be 81%, and then
right.
100. We are very confident.
Yes, absolutely. That is a big jump. We're just so proud of her and their students. We're going to be presenting at Coach Fest. This will be November the 4th and the 5th. Registration is open. I will put some information for registration up on our page if you would like to attend. We'll be presenting on something called case study coaching, which is a different approach to coaching that may be more digestible to people, and we explain it all in the session. The Synergy Lab is on the move to Detroit, Michigan, and Prince George County, Maryland. We'll be aligning some folks there, getting them on the same page to that school improvement process. And if you have not registered for the conference, and this is sponsored by NAPSB this year in Nova Scotia, Canada, please make sure you register. We'll be presenting here as well. And shout out to Queen Jacqueline Harriet. We saw her this weekend, and we're just really excited about the upcoming conference. That's in October. And this event, Ed Table Talk, sponsored by one of our good friends, Dr. Kimberly Oldham, who is the co-founder of Schoolish, is actually sold out, but she is looking at trying to get a few more seats open. So we're very excited that this resonated with a lot of people, and there may be 10 more seats opening. So keep a watch on that. If you haven't tuned in to Parents Our First Teachers on Wednesdays on WGCD Radio, please do that. And if you have not picked up your copy of Amir's Awakening, please do so. It's available on our website and Amazon. And it has also been placed in two of the libraries here locally. And be on the lookout soon for Elizabeth and Isabella, Are You Still Fighting?, which is our next book that is coming out. And if you need help with your weight loss and summer body goals, let me know. I can help you out through Elizabeth Nelson. Tammy's going to do our shout outs for us.
Yes, let us get to those shout outs. And as Shika has already stated, we are super, super thankful that you all join us each week and are a part of what we know to be a truly amazing family. And we just have to always give a shout out to our being able to be a part of this Fantastic Four family. We're so, so grateful. And we're going to start out this morning with acknowledging all of you and your presence. Thank you so much to our Coach Dot, who shows up and each week make sure that people are tuning in. We thank you so, so much because you do not have to do what you do, but we appreciate all of the promotion that you do for us. We want to say good morning again to September Devance Daniels. Thank you for being with us this morning. We got our Chancellor Rashard Davis. Thank you for being with us. Kenyelle, we are so glad to have had the opportunity to spend some time with you over the week. Thank you so much for being such a strong queen, and we appreciate your story. Dr. Joe Griffin, who is a brother in this work as well. Stacy L. Joy, We say good morning and welcome. Thank you for being with us. Melissa Jones Chuno. We got our leader, the fearless leader, godfather of all things leadership, Principal Kafele. We thank you so much, sir. And salute you again for the amazing job that you did this week in your institute. Thank you for letting us be a part of that. Queen Jacqueline, good morning. Good morning. And I'll make sure I speak to you before we take off today. We also want to say good morning to Arcella. Thank you for joining us. Another brother in the work, Josh Tovar. Good morning. Keep running on that treadmill, Josh. You are such an inspiration. Again, we want to say good morning to Edwin Garcia, Jasmine. Good morning. We say good morning to Mary Felton. Hope you're doing well. And did I get everybody? I think we got everybody. But again, we want to just thank you all for being a part of this fantastic for family. We thank you for joining us every Saturday morning. Can't do the
Ab-
work without you.
Absolutely. So we will get started with our episode 256, psychological safety in schools.
Yeah, and let's start the episode this morning with a question. Have you ever been in a meeting where you had an idea, but just decided, I'm not going to share it? Maybe you were afraid that the idea might be dismissed, or maybe you just didn't want to look or sound foolish, or maybe you were in that space where you thought your voice didn't matter.
Or maybe you've worked in a school where teachers stop giving feedback, stop asking questions, stop taking risks, not because they didn't care, but because they no longer felt safe. And that's what we're going to be talking about today, psychological safety. And shout out to Brandon, who makes this so much less stressful,
It
who
does.
puts all of the things up for us. I'm so appreciative of him and can tell the difference
Yes.
when he's not with us. But we commend him. He's a great young man. He has band camp this summer as well. So just him showing up on a Saturday where he could be sleeping in, we appreciate him.
Yes, we do, Brandon. I especially do because it tears me out the frame trying to figure it all out.
So, what is psychological safety? We always make sure that we're defining what we're talking about first, so we're all on the same page, and that's a part of that good communication as well. Psychological safety is the belief that I can contribute. I can ask questions, I can make mistakes, and this is a big one for district level leadership, talking about our leaders. Sometimes we act like people, are invincible and made of steel and iron, and we leave no room for mistakes, as if where you get these leadership robots from, like people ain't gonna make mistakes. Share ideas and even disagree respectfully without fear of embarrassment, punishment, or retaliation. It's important to understand what psychological safety is not. It does not mean we're lowering expectations. Doesn't mean that you making mistakes 2 hours out of every day. It doesn't mean that we're avoiding accountability. It doesn't mean that we're allowing poor performance. Psychological safety means people know that they can learn, grow, and contribute while still being held to a high standard.
Exactly. And the healthiest schools have both of those things, high expectations and high trust, because it can happen if you create and cultivate the kind of culture that allows for that to happen. Because when psychological safety is missing, people begin protecting themselves, because who wants to be humiliated or feel minimized, or who wants to be in a position where you feel like what you think is not of value to the people that you're working with. um, and when people feel like that, they feel like you are not respectful of the thoughts and ideas that they can contribute. they start protecting themselves, as Sheikah said before. They stop sharing ideas. They don't want to be a part of the nonsense because, again, when you feel like you have been minimized, or if you feel like someone thinks that you don't have what it takes to do what needs to be done, it shuts you down. And students, it's the same way in the classroom. If a student feels like psychological safety is missing, guess what? They're not going to ask any questions. When you are a leader and you feel like psychological safety is missing, it's just like Shika said, when you work in a district where people are constantly shutting you down, or people don't seem to value what you bring to the table, people stop seeking feedback. Teams stop challenging one another. And guess what? When all that is gone, there is no innovation, it disappears.
Absolutely. We've done a previous episode on silently quitting. They silently quit. They there. They showing up. They checking some of the boxes to make it look like we doing something, but they've checked out. And so eventually people stop saying, I have an idea, and they start saying, well, I'm just going to keep my head down. And that is not resiliency, that is survival. And one of the things, and this is why it's very dangerous to always focus on proficiency. You do have to be proficient, but you really need to focus on growth. And for children, a lot of times in school, we always focus on the A and getting the mark. We don't teach children how to productively work through failure. I'll never forget the post I saw about Beyonce Knowles' dad making sure that he instituted failures so that when failure did happen on stage, they wouldn't panic. They would know how to work through it. We don't do well with that in schools. It's always, oh, who's doing great. We have to also teach children how to struggle, how to productively work through the struggle. That's how they learn to grapple with the work. So we also have to focus on that as well. And the next point, where leaders set the tone for this, let me put that banner up. Leaders are the ones who are responsible for creating the emotional climate of a school. So people are watching you for how do we handle these situations. They're looking at how you're leading those types of things, how you handle it, because that communicates to everyone else how we do it here at this particular school. So you have to ask yourself, how do people respond when someone makes a mistake? How do you respond when mistakes are made at your school? Do you fly off the handle? Are you, belittling people in front of other adults and children? How are you responding? How do we handle disagreement? Is it okay for people to respectfully disagree with you? Do people feel heard? Can teachers admit when they need help? Are they able to feel vulnerable with you? Can students ask questions without feeling embarrassed?
Honey, these are all very important things for us to think about, because if a teacher feels demeaned or demoralized, you can forget them being an active part of what's going on in that building. And when you feel embarrassed as a student, you are shutting completely down. That's why it's important for us as leaders to make sure that we too are, as she could just said, modeling exactly what this needs to look like for teachers in the building. Well, that also means for you, leader, that you have to be able to watch your body language, watch your facial expressions. You need to be sure that when somebody gives an idea that you don't necessarily agree with, that you aren't rolling your eyes and exasperated and next person, please. You have to make sure that you are modeling these things as well, because psychological safety is not built by posters. It's built by repeated leadership behaviors. It's built when people experience respect, When people see that you are actively and intently listening, something Principal Kafele talked with us about just this week, when you are showing up consistently, when you will lead with grace and make sure that people know that this is a safe space. As Shika said, you can make a mistake, you're going to make mistakes, and we're going to work through them, but at the same time holding people accountable, because accountability is not an option. And this has to be the culture, because it's happening over and over and over again. It's the way we do business.
Absolutely. Josh said Mr. or Miss Potato Plant doesn't ever silently quit. So, point four, we're aligning psychological safety to the real framework as we do every week. So, let's connect real aspects. And that first one is respect. As we stated, every voice deserves dignity. Everybody wants to be seen, loved, and heard. Excellence. People perform better when they feel safe enough to grow. So you have to cultivate that growth culture in your building. Accountability means that safe doesn't mean easy. It means we hold one another accountable with respect. So you when you have systems in place for this as a leader, you're not the only one holding people accountable. Everybody's holding one another accountable, including the children. Literacy. Leaders must learn to read the emotional climate of their schools. And sometimes you got to depend on your people, your teacher leaders, to help you with this, to help you hear what people are saying when you're not present in some cases. And then leadership. Great leaders create environments where people are willing to contribute because they know they will be valued.
Yes. And when people feel psychologically safe, engagement increases, collaboration increases, innovation increases, and trust increases. um, we're going to go on to point five, and we're going to help you with how our Synergy Lab helps to build psychological safety. And that's one reason that schools bring in the Synergy Lab, is because psychological safety cannot happen by accident. It's a very intentional process. It happens only when people better understand themselves and are better able to work together in a way where we respect one another and our differences. And those things only happen through experiences like my secret sauce, my vibe. Everyone has mental health, emotional trigger awareness, our boots on the ground. Teams develop a shared language through these experiences for collaboration and for communication and for conflict resolution.
Absolutely. So when adults understand how they communicate, what triggers them, how others think, and how different generations approach work, the entire culture begins to shift. And that's how we transform schools from the inside out. All of that is a part of the Synergy Lab work that we do with schools. So here's your real reflection question for this week in this episode, our Principal Kafele style reflection. Think about your school. If someone had a new idea today, would they feel safe enough to share it? If someone made a mistake, would they feel safe enough to admit it? If someone needed help, would they feel comfortable asking?
Something to think about, because resilient schools don't eliminate mistakes, they create cultures where people learn from them and they learn from them together.
Absolutely. So make sure you tune in to Principal Kafele next. And let's partner together, create and educate, transform schools from the inside out, aligning that culture and systems through our real framework, the Synergy Lab, and our school improvement systems that we've used in our schools. We help teachers build resilience where students thrive, and then educators love to work. Make sure you continue to tune in to Super Saturday, starting off with Principal Sean Hurt at 10 a.m. Yours truly, Create and Educate, at 10:30. the leaders mentor and the GOAT Principal Kafele at 11, and then on Sensational Sunday, tune in to the PGP podcast with Principal Josh Tovar and Dr. Marty Moreno, and I think he has some special guests on while she's out of the country. So we'll see you all next week.
Yes, because we are your resilience doctors, helping you to create and educate so that you can thrive. We hope you guys have a real amazing Saturday.
Absolutely.